camera, go hype. This is the camera I actually filmed the Moderator Madness music video with. Go check that out. I just dropped it. Put a promo up here.
Madness and Gen Shot, my favorite moderator is Conradman. Whenever he's in that, the thing exploded is way too active. Once a lizard super break, he got such a bowl of salad.
Anyways, I got a new camera. You might notice that my setup is just like a purple screen. I'm kind of getting everything like ordered since my room is still in motion. Audio might sound a little weird. I don't got the foam set up with me no more. It will be back soon. Today I'm doing my official predictions for the 2024 NBA playoffs. As you can see, I got the OKC headband on today because that is my favorite team. I've been an OKC fan since Westbrook and KD in 2016. And they are the first seed today, which is very pleasant. That makes me very happy. I've been seeing a lot of people say things like worst first seed ever before the playoffs even begin. Like, we get first round to the Zionless Pelicans, the Zionless Pelicans, okay. And they talk about worst first seed of all time when the 2021 Jazz is much worse, 2018 Raptors much worse, 2017 Celtics, 2015 Hawks. In fact, the entire Eastern Conference in the mid-2010s. The NBA was weak as fuck back then. Last year, my prediction was very embarrassing, as you can see here.
I believe the Bucks will sweep the Heat because they did that in 2021, and I believe the Bucks have gotten better since.
Speaking of bad first seeds, 2022 Milwaukee Bucks also got to be up there. They had one of the biggest playoff meltdowns in NBA history. Nobody ever seems to talk about it though. But now to actual predictions. We start with the West. You got New Orleans versus OKC. I'm choosing OKC. Pelicans are without Zion, which hinders them a lot. And I have heard a lot of people question OKC's playoff experience, but the same can be said for New Orleans, man. New Orleans, they weren't in the playoffs in 2023. OKC beat them in 2023 in the play-in game 2, which OKC got better since then, and New Orleans stayed relatively the same. And then, yes, they were in the playoffs in 2022, and they did push the Phoenix Suns that year to 6. That is impressive, but that's not enough. So, anyways, I trust Shavante, I trust LaGuardia Dort in these playoff situations, although it is true, I've never seen Chet Holmgren and J.Dub Williams in these playoff situations. I got OKC in 6, since while I do think the OKC is better than New Orleans, New Orleans doesn't know how to put better teams in tough situations as they've proven with the Phoenix Suns in 2022. And OKC isn't exactly experienced either. Not only that, it is a close conference. OKC is not that much better than the Pelicans. The Pelicans are much better than you think, but OKC is better than the Pelicans. They got a handle in 6. Next, we have this close Clippers versus Mavericks series. The Clippers have a lot on the line this run, as a loss of the series could cause the entire team to tear down. The Clippers have been a dominant force in the regular season with Kawhi, George, Harden, and Westbrook, but unfortunately has fallen apart a little bit throughout the later parts. Meanwhile, that's been the opposite case for the Dallas Mavericks. They looked very unthreatening for a majority of the season, but with the acquisitions of PJ Washington and Gogo Gafford at the trade deadline, they fit like a glove, fixed a lot of gameplay problems for them. I believe this will be a close series and these teams will batter each other to Game 7. And for that Game 7, I'm 100% choosing the Mavericks. I trust Kyrie and Luka in a Game 7 situation more than I do the Clippers core, especially since those players like Harden, Westbrook, Paul George have been all documented to do pretty shitty in Game 7s, while the Mavericks have been documented to do pretty well. But there's always a chance, there's also a chance that, because the only way the Mavericks win, in my opinion, is if they take it to 7, because they will win that Game 7. If the Mavericks fail to take it to Game 7, if the Clippers are able to close it out in 6, then they will win. Next, we got Phoenix versus Minnesota. This one's pretty easy for me. Minnesota has been dominant all season. Took the Suns a little while to get into the season, but unfortunately, I got the Suns in 5, as they have had the Timbs numbered all season, and they matched up really well against them in the regular season. I think they went like 3-0 against them, with some pretty convincing numbers too, and some of them being in the more recent days, which are much more important than a game in November or something. Finally, the best series in the Western Conference, in my opinion, we got the Nuggets and Lakers. The Nuggets beat the, oh wait, what am I talking about best series? That's Clippers and Mavericks, but the Nuggets beat the Lakers last year. They're going to do the same again this year. Although I will not rule the Lakers completely out, as I feel the Nuggets, this year's Nuggets are inferior to last year's. This year's Lakers are superior to last year's. The Lakers, however, are without Jared Vanderlorian, which is going to bite them in the ass this series. Ultimately, Nuggets in 5 or 6. They're better than the Lakers. Beat their ass every time. but I think the Lakers will get some games off of them. But the Lakers ultimately should have gone for the 8th seed against OKC, which they would have won since they had a number the entire regular season. Not only with that, I'm gonna tell you this: if the Lakers somehow end up winning the series, they're going for the championship. They're going for the championship. They somehow end up beating the Nuggets. And now we're going for the East. We got a very entertaining Heat versus Celtics first round matchup. The Heat are without Jimbo, unfortunately, but that doesn't change any of the entertainment going on in this series. Since I know who Erik Spoelstra, Jimbo's gone, Erik Spoelstra don't care. He's the one coach that will tell you there's 15 guys on the roster for a reason, and he's not going to use injuries as an excuse. And the Heat can never be ruled out. Bam Metallic could go off, some random undrafted dude from the middle of like Iowa or something. I just threw that state out my ass, but some random ass undrafted dude from the ass crack of 1998 could just come in and start playing like really good to help them, and they could still succeed without Jimbo. They can really push this series to 7. I really do think they can push the series to 7, as the Heat will have an ultimate goal of trying to beat up and bruise the Celtics, which is their greatest rival, in order to ensure that they don't win. So ultimately, they don't have Jimbo. The Celtics are better. Like Celtics in 6. The Jimbo-less Miami is not enough, but it's going to be a fun series, regardless of Jimbo's presence or not. Next, we got Cleveland versus Orlando, 2 teams that nobody gives a fuck about. I will check out one of the games, not gonna lie, since a lot of people keep telling me this is a matchup that some screenshot of Twitter, but if I don't give a fuck about the teams playing, I'm not watching it. But Cleveland did like 5 or 6. Better team, more experienced. Moving on. Anyways, next I have a hot take for Bucks versus Pacers. I honestly, genuinely do believe the Pacers are going to upset the Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks are no strangers to underwhelming first round meltdowns as we seen last year. Dame wants to commit suicide. He keeps... I don't really like Dame, by the way, but he keeps going out on Twitter talking about Milwaukee this, Milwaukee that. I hate Milwaukee. Doc Rivers is a bitch. He's had the Bucks number all regular season, to the point where Giannis even said these words right here.
When you're about to get freaky at night, you think about it.
And now with the addition of Pascal Siakam, things will be much easier for the Pacers to move on. And now to finish off the first round, we have a controversial Philly versus Knicks matchup. There's a lot of opposing sides for who will win. Not really a consensus agreement. It is true that the Knicks have had Philly's number all year, holding them to under 100 points each game. And they also got one of the best defenses in the league, but Joel has been gone for a while. We have not really been able to see the Philadelphia 76ers at their true form. Joel is also a well-documented playoff dropper. I also feel like if the Philly had Joel all year, they wouldn't even be down here at 7th. They would, if it was like Philly 2nd, Knicks 7th, then the Philly got that. But not only that, you remember in that playing game, they had to rely on the old-ass Nicholas Batum in order to win. Fourth quarter yelling, "This is my Batum." Anyways, after rethinking, since I did initially have the Philadelphia 76ers, I got New York at 7. Wouldn't be surprised if Philly wins though. So now we're in the second round. We got OKC. Dallas comes out of a tough game 7 with Los Angeles. There's game 7s where it's gonna bruise you up. So like, let's say if you was to be taken to a game 7 by a much inferior team. So like, let's say the Celtics and Hawks last year, you know, was taken to 6. Then that's gonna bruise you up for the next series. Although, if you won a game 7 with a well-matched team, a tough team, that's gonna prepare you for the next series. And I think that's what's gonna be happening for Dallas and Los Angeles. Dallas coming out of that game 7 is gonna be prepared for it all. They're gonna beat OKC in 6. OKC has matched up pretty good against Dallas this year, but Dallas is much more experienced. Kyrie and Luka are great. So I think the Mavericks got this. Denver beat Phoenix last year, and they're gonna do it again this year. Denver matched up well against them. Denver in 6 again, although I do believe Phoenix's team this year is better than last year's, so Denver's is worse than Denver's team is worse than last year's. Not only that, Phoenix is coming off an easier matchup than Denver. So it could go to 7. Really could go to 7, but Denver still got it if it's in 7 anyways. Down in the East, the Celtics got Cleveland handled in 6. I say 6 because Atlanta pushed them to 6 last year, and the Celtics have 3 playoff chokers in the roster, with Tatum being inconsistent, Drew Holiday being a bitch, and Tingus Pingus. They are still much better than Cleveland, but I think they're gonna limp a little. Since they limped against the Hawks last year, Cleveland is much better than the Hawks this year, in contrary to the Celtics being much better than last year's Celtics. So they're gonna limp a little. The choker's gonna do a little bit choking. Then we got Knicks versus Indiana in the second round. Nobody is watching this shit. Nobody cares about these two teams. Knicks got it handled much better since they're in Indiana, not even supposed to be in the first place. Although Philly was the one to make it to the second round, Indiana makes it to the conference finals. Because Joel is not making it out the second round ever. We're in the conference finals. The two white Europeans in the West go head to head, Jokic and Luka. That's gonna be a great series. The Nuggets are a better team than the Mavericks though, and they will win in 6. They have been there and done that, but don't rule out the Mavericks. We could actually see the Mavericks in the finals this year. Celtics versus Knicks. Celtics win. Celtics versus Pacers. Celtics probably sweep, not gonna lie. So we could see Mavericks versus Celtics. That would be really cool. But I think it's going to be Denver versus Celtics in the finals. That's our final boss. The matchup of Denver versus the Celtics. This is going to be our first finals to go to Game 7 since Cleveland in 2016 against the Warriors when they came back. I do got Boston in 7 for my reasons, even though I think they're going to limp a little bit. The Nuggets been there, done that. I think this is the year that the Celtics finally seal the deal. They get it all done. They got like 3 people I'd say are 90 overalls on the roster. Chingus Pingus, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. There's a little streak. They do much better in even numbered years than odd numbered years. I got a whole list up here for you to see. I think the Celtics gonna finally get their first champion. Well, not first, but they finally gonna get their ring this year. I live in Boston. Well, I don't live in Boston, but I live in Massachusetts, where there's a whole bunch of fucking annoying ass Celtics fans. So I have to hear from them in a while. I really hope OKC and Celtics do not meet in the playoffs, because Celtics would win, and then now I gotta argue with Celtics fans all day. That's why I made the AJ Rivera song in 2023 from arguing with, well, he wasn't a Celtics fan, but from trolling Celtics fans, the AJ Rivera song came out. Anyways, that's it. Goodbye. Genius Lyric Cards Part 4 is dropping this month. You can join the Me Gang Discord server. Send me some lyric cards. Check out Motivated Madness music video. Goodbye.